Hi, Mark McDonald here, broker owner 215 Properties. I am here with two special guests today.
R Laurence, the caring realtor from 215 Properties. I work with relocation, retirement, and helping people realize their dreams.
Hi, I'm John McClaskie. I'm with Leading Edge Mortgage. I've been here in the mortgage business in Florida since 1989, and I help people anywhere in Florida take advantage of getting a mortgage and utilizing properties to help them create wealth.
Thank you. We're here today to talk about the condo opportunities there is in South Florida. As you all probably heard on the news, there's a lot of issues with condos and purchasing a condo. That's why I brought Karen and John in today to discuss how you can purchase a condo in South Florida, because it's a great opportunity with the prices coming down and some of these assessments coming to an end. Karen, would you like to start? And ask John a couple questions about how to purchase a condo?
As a service to my clients, I look on the hot sheet every day that comes from MLS. And granted, I don't have all of the cities from the hot sheet on there, but I find that there are at least 10 to 15 condos from, say, the South Palm Beach County area that are on every day. So that's why I know that there are a lot of condos on. Some of them in the listings will say that the seller of the condo will have to pay for any of the assessments prior to closing. So that's something that's a little bit new, because I remember when I would negotiate it and when the seller wanted the buyer to pay it. But now it seems that things are a little bit different because the the prices have gone up on the HOAs. I think that there are certain condos where the fact that the prices are going down, even though the HOA is high, it still may be a very smart thing to buy, because if you buy in the right community with very good amenities, I think you'll have a good deal. I think you'll be very happy there. John?
Correct.
A lot of the clients that come to me have been told by a bank or by an association or by someone that they can't get a mortgage or that the property's not financeable. And it's simply not the case. We have lenders that are willing to make loans on condominiums. It's a good practice to find out as much as you can for your clients in terms of what does the budget look like? Are there any open lawsuits against the associations? What does the property look like? Meaning, are there a lot of renters in the area? Are there a lot of owner-occupied properties, second homes, etc.? Once the property's been vetted, we have lenders that are willing to make loans on most any condo. The biggest question would then be based on the client, which depends on their credit and how much they have to put down. The right borrower with the right property can buy a condominium with as little as 3% down. More typically, they're probably going to need at least 10% in most situations. And if things are a little bit rougher with the condominium, they couldn't need as much as 20 or 30%. It's all a case by case thing. But to simply make a blanket statement that there's no financing available, simply not true.
Well, one thing that's true is we do have, unfortunately, after the Surfside collapse, is milestone inspections. And that's a big question for condominiums, due to some of them are on a list that did not pass the milestone. And I was even reading an article today that there's 25,000 condo units in Florida that house 1.1 million residents. And there is a total of 59 condo units that have not even applied for the milestone inspection yet, where they definitely cannot get a mortgage. I'm curious, is there a lot of condos that are just not, I guess they call warrantable or non-warrantable? Like, how does that work if they don't have their milestone passed, or their phase one is passed, but they have a phase two inspection coming up about getting a mortgage?
If the condo meets all the parameters, then they can get financing based on generally accepted guidelines for Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, and those would be the best terms possible. If things like the milestones, or things like an active lawsuit, or insurance coverage that might not be adequate for the entire association is not on point, I have other lenders that would be willing to look around these things. Usually what happens then is, our whole life everybody's been taught to get the best possible interest rate. Some of these lenders that look the other way on this would charge additional fees to a client, but they are willing to make the loan.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
Even with if they have their structural integrity reserves are not fully funded as well?
structural is always a concern.
Correct.
So that's something that there may not be a workaround for.
That's something a lot of buyers aren't aware of because they're not informed up front. And what about the age of a roof in the condominium? I know Karen and I get questions from buyers. We have one working together right now who's always afraid of the age of everything. And if it's a condominium complex and the age of the roof is 24 years old, no one's getting replaced in a couple of years, does that throw off anything about getting a loan for the condo complex?
Not really going to stop a lender from making a loan as long as they can get insurance.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good these days to have a savvy insurance agent that's creative at getting things done. As long as they qualify with the payment, then it will work. Lenders aren't looking for ways not to make loans. They just require coverage.
That's good to know. Could you let us know why it's a great opportunity right now in South Florida to buy a condo? With all the prices and all this hearsay, well, why is it a great opportunity to buy?
Well, a lot of these things.
We have a lot of buyers that we could definitely use this information on.
A lot of the things that you're stating are challenges, like the ability to fix the buildings. As these things eventually will all get fixed,
Mm-hmm.
and eventually when they're fixed, the fee should be more in line for these condo associations. Anybody that needs to buy a condo or have a place to live within the next 12 to not more than 18 months, I would imagine it's going to be a great opportunity to buy, because once everything's fixed, there won't be anything for them to have to worry about. And with that, I would imagine prices would start to stabilize and start to go up at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, right now, I see prices coming down by between 25% to 30% on the condos in order to sell them. So that's what I've encountered, and I think it's because there are so many of them. But if you take that and you weigh that against the higher HOA, you still can get a great deal and a very lovely place to live.
And great locations here in South Florida as well. Another big concern that I hear about is elevator assessments on the older condo complexes, and I laugh because a lot of them the buyers are scared that their elevator assessment they hear is the most expensive one. It's going to be $40,000, $50,000, crazy numbers that they hear. Is there any way around that if there's an assessment on an elevator to get a loan? We have a buyer in particular I've been working with who is afraid of the elevator assessment buildings built pre-1990.
If I were to coach somebody that liked that building and they were to get financing,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to take that into consideration as they make their offer. I would probably request that the seller pay for this or take a discount in the event it needs to be fixed. The problem with the seller, the buyer, anybody else in a condo is not everybody has the money to reach into their pocket and pay for the association.
Mm-hmm.
So in a case like that, I might coach the association that if the people don't have the means to make the payments, that there's lenders out there that would secure a loan against the entire association so that people have a more manageable payment rather than a big assessment for one big elevator fix all at once.
So as you're seeing, you can buy a condo with the mortgage. It's the myth of the real estate world right now that you cannot buy a condo with a mortgage. You can definitely buy one. If you have any questions, you should reach out to John. And if you see any properties, some condos especially, reach out to Karen as well. John, what's the one biggest takeaway you'd like the viewers to know about from today?
The one thing that I would like the viewers to take away is that you have to be diligent in your search. You have to go through a lot of condos in order to find the one that's right for you, and do a little bit of research, which is what my job is to do for you. And I would be very glad to do that. You can call me at 516-524-3953 or text me. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
There's a couple of points I would make. Number one, if you're going to be looking at a condo, do your due diligence to find out as much as you can about the condo itself. Number two is there's so much of this that's variable or changes from one property to the next. I'd strongly recommend calling a mortgage professional like myself. Best way to reach me is 561-573-1312. Call or text your name and phone number, and we'll be glad to look into your situation and help you. And working with a good real estate professional like Karen or Mark would clearly put you on the best path for success.
Great tips from both of you, and thank you for tuning in today.